So this is sunny Zambia. I'm quite excited. Whilst I know a thing or two about their beautiful gemstones, as yet I know very little about the country, very little about the people. A little bit apprehensive because normally you know a lot about the country before you arrive. This time it's going to be a real adventure. Let's go and see what happens. Zambia sits between the equator and the latitude of Capricorn. Now because of this, it's a tropical country, beautiful green vegetation all around us. And I think this is fantastic and reminds me very much of Zambian emeralds, because with the Zambian emeralds, not only do you get this delicious body green coming through, but also undertones of blue from the sky. How rare is Zambian emerald? Well, I'm here to tell you it's incredibly rare. Around 500 million years ago, a pegmatite broke through a layer of rock, a layer of rock that here in this emerald belt in Zambia we call our talc magnetite schist, TMS. And 500 million years ago, it came through. The magma, the molten lava, raced through towards the surface of the earth. And as it did, it was carrying beryllium. Now, you need all these different elements to come together to create a beautiful, beautiful emerald. In this TMS, there was traces of chromium. So we've got the chromium, we've got the beryllium coming up up to the surface of the earth. And this is creating a cocktail of elements. If you haven't got those cocktail elements, you don't end up with emerald. But that's only part of the story. Once you've got your cocktail, you need the right temperature, you need the right pressure, and you need the right amount of time for it to cool. So you really have these 4 different elements all coming together. And that is why emerald is so incredibly rare. There is so many things and so many variables that have to come together to be able to produce one of the world's most famous, one of the world's most beautiful and intriguing gemstones.
The main reason for my visit to Zambia isn't to see the incredible wildlife that it's famous for, but to visit the emerald mines in the Copper Belt, which is home to some of the best emeralds in the world and some of the finest emeralds that you'll see on Gems TV.
After 35 kilometres of dust road and pebbles and rocks and dust, not a piece of tarmac inside, we're just arriving now at Gemfield's main mine in Zambia. They've got several mines. They've got one for one for amethyst in the south, but here towards the north in the Copper Belt, this is their famous Zambian Emerald mine. Security is very, very high. We've already gone through a number of security checks already, and this is probably about security check number 3, and we're still some kilometre away. And the reason why security is so high, of course, here is we're talking about one of the rarest gemstones on the planet, one of the absolute most beautiful gems on the planet. And because of the rarity and because of the cost, then security is indeed very, very tight. I'm here in Zambia in front of Gemfield's Emerald Mine. It's absolutely vast. It is probably the biggest coloured gemstone mine in the world when we're talking about open pit mining. But why does it have to be so big? Well, the reason it has to be so big is these little green gemstones are incredibly rare. We have to move 12 million grams of rock. We have to excavate it to get down to find the little rare pieces. 12 million to get 1 little gram of emerald. A 12 million to 1 chance of finding your beautiful emeralds. That makes Zambian emerald incredibly rare. As always, when you travel around the world, you need experts. I'm more of a fanatic than an expert, so I'm joined by Rob Gessner. Rob, you're one of the gemologists here, and before that you were at Tanzanite 1. What are the main sort of basic differences between mining for emeralds and Tanzanites? Are there any key basic differences? Or
I think with Tanzanite we spent our time underground.
Yeah.
Here it's obviously open cast. That's the major difference, besides the gemstone style being blue versus green. Tanzanite, very new stone, emerald, historic stone. It's both two different kettles of fish, very difficult, very different, but geology both complex, but both exciting.
Why is it that sort of tanzanite then, because you've mined both, tanzanite tends to be a lot more clear and emeralds have a lot more inclusions? Is it to do with the way they are formed, or what's the main... I remember sort of learning about tanzanite, they were more in pockets and sort of big, where the earth rolls around and overlaps with big holes. But here we got a different scenario, haven't we? And a lot more pressure, a lot more temperature, and one of the reasons why it's included... Am I making sense? What's the difference? Why is it more included, basically, is the question.
Emeralds, it's basically down to their chemical formula and the building blocks of an emerald. Also, the rock type it crystallizes in is inherent to other minerals getting included into the gemstone as it crystallizes. So this is, it's growing and forming with other minerals, emeralds, whereas tanzanite actually formed in voids or pockets in the earth. So there was very little to get trapped in and included into tanzanite.
I noticed, and we're going to have a look a bit later on, that you're now going underground here as well. So you're taking your experience from Tanzanite 1 and going underground. That certainly in Zambia is quite a new thing for emerald mining.
Yeah, I think it's historically, but also due to the conditions, and it's never really been done properly. We are now a year into underground mining, basically checking boxes in terms of whether we're able to support the rock, whether we're able to handle the water, are we able to get the volumes of rock out to get the volumes of emeralds that we need. And so far so good. We are just achieved over 100 meters underground this past month.
Excellent.
So progress is going well.
This pit first started in 1975. It's taken a long time to excavate all the earth and the rock to get down to this level, some 100 meters below ground level. We're now starting to find some really, really nice emeralds. Still very rare, still very small quantities, still 1 in 12 million grams is going to yield a beautiful piece. But this week we've been quite fortunate. We might not have bought them great weather from the UK, but what we have bought is a bit of good luck, because we have found 1 or 2 really nice pieces over the last week. It's one of the most exciting days I've ever had in my whole career in gemstones. Normally I can be in mines for weeks, I can be in areas for months and still never come across a real genuine gemstone in the host rock. This is the first time in my life that I've seen it. Unfortunately, there is a little bit of a trick. They discovered this about a week ago and they knew we were coming, so they left it in the host rock for us to have a look how it forms. Take a look, it is just incredible. This is emerald that has taken 500 million years to form. It's had the right amount of heat, 700 to 900 degrees. It's had the right amount of pressure. It's had the right amount of chromium. It's had everything absolutely perfect. And that is why 100 meters below the surface, we find just this one piece. It's so rare, but it is so beautiful. Just about to go 40 meters underground looking for emeralds in Zambia. And what's unusual about this is that most emerald mining around the world is open pit, open cast mining. But here in Zambia, with the advancement of technology, we're now going to go deeper and deeper looking for those elusive emeralds. And that's quite important because emeralds are becoming harder and harder to find at lower sort of depths. So we're going to go lower, underground, in a shaft mine. Slightly dangerous in the sense that the surrounding rocks is quite loose, but the guys sort of guarantee me that they've done a good job at supporting the roof of the mine. We're going down some 60-70 metres in this shaft. It's Gemfield's way of exploring underground emeralds. So we normally see open pit mining, but this one we've got to go deep, deep down to try and find some of those incredibly beautiful, incredibly vibrant green Zambian emeralds. Nothing quite like a Zambian emerald. Let's go and see if we can find some for ourselves. You come all this way down. This is waste. This is waste. And all we're looking at is this small seam.
Yeah. So in this case, we've only got, okay, it's about 10 or 12 centimeters thick.
Yeah.
Whereas in the pit we saw it a lot thicker.
Yeah.
Here's the footwall contact, so joining and becoming our tri-junction area, we've got quite a thick footwall, but a very narrow discordant reaction zone.
So the only place we're going to find the emeralds is in this small 20 centimetre here, and then 2 or 3 square foot here.
Yes. And now the difference between underground, you've got access to the entire footwall. Here, we've only got 2.5 meters by 2.5 meters to access the same zone because you need to leave support.
It's a lot of work for a few emeralds.
A lot of work goes into it, but if we've been mining about since January this year. We've got 110 meters underground, so it's about 15 to 18 meters a month.
Wow, that's quite good progress.
So we do make good progress, yes.
Wherever an emerald is discovered, it's locked away in a metal box and security guards carry it to the secure sorting house. All of the other rocks extracted from near the reaction zone are then washed and sorted and put onto conveyor belts, making sure that no single stone is left unturned.
Not looking for a needle in a haystack. This is 1% of the rough that comes out of the mine. The rest of it, the 99%, it's got no chance. It's not in what we call the reaction zone. So this is from the bit that the gemologists have told us has got the best chance of including emeralds. I've been here for 3 hours and as yet I've not found a single potential gemstone. So let's get this right. We're in Zambia. There's only this tiny little one strip of Zambia, the Emerald Belt, where we've got a chance. We then excavated the mine. There's only 1% where there's a chance within the mine we're going to get it. That comes all the way down here, and in 3 hours I've still not found a single emerald.
Each piece of emerald is then transported to a guarded location so it can be analysed and sorted based on varying factors such as its colour, size and quality.
It's amazing, isn't it? We're in one mine, mining just one gemstone, and here they still, even at the rough stage, split the parcels down into 200 different grades. That's the beautiful thing. Out of one mine, you get grades from completely opaque through to the really, really rich and rare and expensive top grade emeralds. It's not different from location to location, just in one mine, up to 200 different grades. The beautiful thing about Zambian emeralds is the way it splits the light in two. You buy yourself a little dichroscope from Gem Collector and have a look at your emeralds, especially if they're Zambian emeralds. You'll find vivid blues and vivid greens coming through. It is one of the most delicious gemstones on the planet. Around the world, gemstone mining normally happens in remote locations, meaning that miners have to travel hours and hours from the nearest village, the nearest town, to arrive at the mine. Here at KGem, what we've got here is accommodation for all of the miners. They've got running water, they've got electricity, they've even got their own toilets, which is, in this remote location of the world, pretty impressive. They really look after the miners here really well at KGem. They've even got their own football playing pitch. Mining gemstones is a really expensive business. You've got the salaries of the miners, you've got the food and accommodation of the miners, certainly when they live on site. You've got the fuel. Now the fuel is probably the single biggest cost. The fuel, because you don't get electricity out here, so generators provide all of the electricity, but the fuel of the diggers and the excavating machines and so on runs into hundreds of thousands of pounds each month. And for a mining company, it's really important to keep control of those costs, because if you can keep control of the costs, you can keep the price of your gemstones as low as you possibly can. And one of the ways of controlling the cost is to make sure we're digging in the right places. So a lot of money and time and effort is spent in trying to analyse with geologists and gemologists exactly where the most likely chance is of finding the emerald. And if we do that, if we can pinpoint with quite good accuracy, then we don't have to move as much earth to actually get to the valuable gemstones.
Seeing how the miners live has made me want to learn more about the rest of the community and how Gemfields and the emerald mining in general has helped to improve the lives of people in the community.
35 kilometres from the nearest small village to the KGem mines, and we're going along a dirt track. This dirt track is pretty impassable when we get to the rainy season. So from sort of December through to February, it's hit and miss if you could actually get out to the emerald mining zone. And the whole track is completely made, like I say, dirt track, no tarmac in sight. It's bumpy, but it's hellishly exciting. Now going to go off to the Capilla School, which has completely been 100% funded by emerald mining. So let's go and see what good we're giving back to the community. One thing that's important when you're trying to help out in local communities is that it's not a one-off investment. It's not just about buying books and bicycles and writing equipment for schools. It's about the ongoing support, but it's more about helping them learn for themselves, helping teach them how to build the infrastructures, how to get the drainage and the sanitation right. Because as the old saying goes, you can buy a man a fish and you can feed him for a day, but if you can teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. And that's really what it's about when it's about supporting local communities, is helping them understand how to build the schools in the first place, because you can help them build the first one, but then teach them how to build more and so on. So it's ongoing community support that it's really all about.
Although the children here are happy and enjoying their school life, most don't realise just how much emerald mining is helping their education. Their parents, on the other hand, are well aware of the benefits, and today we're holding a meeting to discuss how GEMS TV, Gemfields and the community can work together on new projects.
Just like the UK, they've just been to a meeting of the PTA, the Parents Teachers Association, and it's so nice to see so many smiles. They've got so little in this country to smile about, and yet they're always smiling. And when I go and see my children at school and there's all the long faces in the UK, we have to remember the most important thing in life is to be happy and to keep smiling. And of course, this beautiful country, they've got emeralds, but here they're not so sure of exactly what the gemstones are in the community. All they can see, though, is the direct benefits that it brings them. When we come here and we support the schools and support the communities, then it's great. They don't really understand it's this little gemstone that's returning the funding and the helping into the schools. And it's not just about funding, it's more about helping them build the schools and teaching them how to all come together as a community. But it's just so nice to see the benefit that the small little gemstones that we sell can often bring to communities like we've got here near the Kargem mines in Zambia. We're now some 20 kilometres away from the actual mine itself, but this medical centre here was funded with the donation from the mines, the emerald mines, and without that, this little baby John, who's now 2 weeks old, would have been born most likely in his little home without any professional medical care. And now we have a maternity ward here, which means that the chances of having a healthy start in life is dramatically increased. And how many people do you take care of in say a week? How many people come through your door?
In a week, usually it's about 400.
Wow, wow, a lot of people.
Sometimes maybe in a day we even see over 100, especially on a Monday.
Especially on a Monday. Wow,
Yes.
that's a lot of people.
Yes.
And before the clinic was here, what would they would have to wait for?
They used to go to Kalurush and the St. Joseph's. So even in maternity cases, they used to refer to Kalurushi. But since now there's a midwife around this place, no more.
Excellent.
It was now time for me to explore further afield and see what life was like for people who live in areas where the support of the emerald mines has yet to reach.
Around 80% of the world's gemstones are mined in third world countries, and by buying gemstones indirectly, some benefit always comes back to the communities. Whether you're buying from small independent miners or from the big corporations, there's always some benefit coming back to the communities. When you're talking about small artisanal miners, then you're helping fund their community and then their way of life. When you're talking about the bigger corporations like your Gemfields, then through their sponsorship of health, their sponsorship of education, then the community again benefits from gemstones. So yes, they're beautiful, yes, they're gorgeous, yes, they're great value through GEMS TV, but the most important thing is the effect that gemstone mining has on so many communities. So you're in charge of this area here?
Yes.
How many people?
18.
18?
Yes.
And you live in here and you do all your washing here and...
I have just come to start the farming.
The farming?
I bought this area in 2004.
Okay, so you've been here for about 6 years.
Yes.
And what are you farming for?
But maize.
Maize.
I was in town.
Mm-hmm.
I have just tried to say there is no jobs in town.
Right.
Let me just go and cultivate the land. And I've just started making a foundation
Excellent.
for the house.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're going to build your own house just here?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent.
But I have come during season time. Just where I'm settled in Kitwe. I will just go and bring my things in Kitwe, then I start living here.
So you'll move the family out here and you'll build a home out here and then you'll live off the land.
Yes.
We wish you luck and we hope all goes well for you and your family.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you. And how do I say your name?
My name is Sam Mushapa.
Samu Mashapa.
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Samu Mashapa. Thank you. Many of your green gemstones are quite modern in the sense they've only been discovered quite recently. You take Savrite, for example, only found 50, 60 years ago. Take Alexandrite, only a couple of hundred years of history. But let's talk about the emerald. The emerald has been used for thousands of years for personal adornment. You're talking the Incas. We're talking way, way back. We're talking Cleopatra had her own mines. She was so in love with emeralds. She had so many emeralds that eventually she owned her own mines. Up to modern day, you've got JFK proposing to Jackie with an emerald. Today with the red carpet, you're talking pop stars, you're talking film stars. Certainly emerald is one of the most popular gemstones today. But that said, it's been popular for thousands and thousands of years. And we want to talk about value of emeralds. Well, they range in all sorts of prices. The piece I'm holding here now, probably £7,000, £8,000. But don't be surprised to see some emeralds fetching millions and millions of pounds. In fact, quite recently, there was one sold at auction for over $2 million. So Amos, your dad Amos was a gemstone miner for many, many years, mining for emeralds. And he helped build the building behind us, which is today where the teachers from the village next door all reside. But before this, it was a school, I believe.
Yeah, it was a school. Now that the population of people staying or coming into this area was growing up and people had no schools to go to and teachers had no accommodation, so my dad decided to help and build up this structure.
Excellent. Yeah. So again, another example of how people that are mining for emeralds are helping the local community.
The other one is farming.
Farming.
Since a lot of industries were going down, people have started drifting from town to rural areas. Mm-hmm. The only thing that they can do in rural areas is farming. Yes,
and certainly Gemfields has been very influential in helping the farmers. We heard earlier on that they've taken 13 farms, put them together in like a community, give them a bit of seed funding to start the farming, and then most of the food they produce, they actually then sell back to Gemfields, and the rest they sell in the market.
Yeah, there's that program which is going on right now with Gemfields. I think it started two and a half years ago. They sponsored them with farming implements. And then they've been given a right to come and sell again to Gemfield, which means they are helping them to generate funds and to educate their children as well.
Oh, that's excellent. Well, thank you for all your time today. It's been great.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. I was talking to Amos's father earlier on today, who's been mining emeralds for many years here in Zambia. And he tells me that there are in the local area an area called Fwaya or the Fwaya belt, where all the emeralds are found here. In fact, the vast majority of all emeralds coming out of Zambia are from the Fwaya belt. And he tells me there are some 500 mines that are no longer in operation, with just a handful still bringing emeralds to the surface. Indeed, it is a very, very rare gemstone, and certainly when it comes to Zambian emeralds, they're amongst some of the finest on the planet.
On our way back to the airport, we pass a beautiful lake that I'm told has a hidden secret.
When you buy your beautiful emerald, and when you look at it and when you enjoy it and you look at the magic, the individuality of each emerald, think not just of how beautiful it is, but think of the scenery from where it came from. This beautiful landscape behind me once was an emerald mine. 8 years ago, they were mining beautiful emeralds from here, taking small amounts for every big sort of amount that they excavated. But today, look, it's a beautiful, beautiful lake. And in fact, the locals actually fish in here, and they don't just fish for fun, it's part of their daily diet.
My time in Zambia has finally come to an end. Along the way, I've seen how efficiency, mining experience and attention to detail can lead to the discovery of beautiful emeralds. I've also realised how the gemstones themselves can have a direct and positive impact on so many people's lives in the local area.
I've learned a lot while I've been in here in Zambia, how friendly the people are, their big smiles, their big hearts. In fact, I'd now call Zambia the Thailand of Africa. Most importantly, I've learned how incredibly beautiful their gorgeous emeralds are. See you soon.